Hello guys, we're back with our next lecture. In this lecture, let us go through the next topic that is grammars, guys. So in the last few lectures, we have discussed in detail about the conversion between regular expressions to finite automata and all those things, right? Yes. So in this lecture, let us introduce about grammar, and in the upcoming 4-5 lectures, we will be discussing in detail about conversion from regular grammar to all other things which you have learned, guys. So now indirectly we are going to spend 6 lectures. So one lecture from conversion of regular grammar to regular language, and the other lecture regular language to regular grammar. Similarly, regular grammar to regular expression to regular grammar to finite automata to regular grammar. So in that way, all these lines we will learn, and we are going to complete this particular graph, right? Yes. Okay. So before going into that all those things, first we should understand what exactly is a grammar, right? Yes. So instead of directly going through the theoretical approach, let me solve you a question, guys, so that you will understand what exactly do I mean by grammar. Okay. So assume that the given question is in this way. Okay. So they gave that. So a grammar will look in this way, guys. So S implies AB, A implies small a, capital B implies a small b or c. So in this way the grammar will look, guys. Okay. So based on this observation, what are you able to confirm, guys? So it is like something implies something, something implies something, something implies something. So when we are working these implications and all those things, always we prefer drawing trees, right? Yes. So if I start with A, so basically the first symbol S is nothing but the start symbol, guys. So from S I can generate AB, right? Yes. But from A I can generate a small a. Okay. Similarly from B, capital B, I can generate small b. Or I'm having option here. So let me draw one more graph. So I will take the other option here, A and C. So here I was able to generate AB, here I was able to generate AC. So indirectly using this whole grammar, I can generate AB or AC, right? Yes. So basically you can create a deterministic finite automata for this, right? Yes. So for that deterministic finite automata, this is the grammar, guys. So now you understood, right? So that is nothing but a grammar. Got it? Yes. So the way of my explanation might be completely different, but you understood, right? So what I am trying to say, okay. Yes. So when we are working with this grammar, we are having 5 tuples, guys. So in deterministic finite automata, non-deterministic finite automata with epsilon, and everywhere we are having 5 tuples, right? Yes. Here we are having 4 tuples. So the first tuple is Vn, guys. Sorry, Vn. So the full form of Vn is nothing but V means variables and N means non-terminals, guys. So to be clear, non-terminal and terminal is one of the most confusing terminology for a student, right? Yes. So basically in this given question, so let me explain you from here only. So here Vn is a nothing, sorry, I don't know why I'm writing for all. So Vn is a nothing but the capital letters, guys. So we are having S, A and B. So these are the Vn terms, and these are called as non-terminals. So what is a terminal, guys? So you can assume that terminal is an end. So basically from terminal you can never expand. But when it comes to non-terminal, you can expand from that to something. Got it? Yes. So now what about the other thing? So this is first one. And what about terminals, guys? So A and B. So in simple words, non-terminals are capital letters, terminals are small letters, guys. So terminals are again represented with the symbol sigma. So here A and B are those. And similarly S. So S is nothing but S is the start symbol, guys. So here we are having S as the start symbol. Okay. And the last one will be our transitions. So those are written here as I think P which will translate. They are called as productions here, right? Yes. So these individually they are called as a production. So that is the reason why they are represented with the letter P. So inside P you are going to have S implies a AB, A implies a small a, B implies a B or C. So now you understood, right? So these are the 4 tuples. So now let us go through the theoretical understanding. So I think everyone understood, right? So what exactly I am trying to say? Yes. So basically what is a grammar, guys? Grammar is nothing but a language usually contains an infinite number. Okay, we cannot tabulate each and every string to represent the language. Therefore, like automata grammar is also a mathematical model of representing a language. Okay, so same like automata, guys. So we are designing machines, right? Yes. So in the same way we are going to design this grammar also, or you can, from this grammar we can identify which language, or you can construct automata using this grammar, and everything is possible. Okay. Yes, I took the same example. So Vn. Vn is what, guys? It is nothing but non-terminals, right? Yes. So it's a finite non-empty set whose elements are called variables, non-terminals. Okay. At the rate capital letters which help in leading to the final states, final string. Got it? Yes. Now what about sigma? Sigma is nothing but is a finite non-empty set whose elements are called as a terminals. Vn intersection sigma is equals to 5. So there will be no common thing in between capital letters and small letters, right? So that's what they wrote here. So indirectly sigma is nothing but the small letters. Got it? Yes. Moving on to S. So S is nothing but the special variable. In simple words, you can call it as a start symbol. And this start symbol will always belong to non-terminal, right? Because it is going to generate something, right? Because it is the start symbol, right? Yes. And similarly P is nothing but the productions. So is a finite set whose elements are alpha implies beta. So they look in this way only, right? Yes. So something will imply something. So alpha implies beta. In that way they will look, right? Yes. Are strings on Vn union sigma where alpha has at least one symbol from Vn non-terminal. So basically if you observe, even in our example, always on the left hand side we will only Vn, guys. Got it? Yes. Okay. Yes. So the same example which I have explained here is written here, right? Yes. Okay. So now let us go through the different grammars, guys. So basically we are having a classification of these grammars. Okay, that is nothing but a Chomsky classification of grammars of languages, guys. Okay, so if you recall, this is a particular graph which I have explained you in our first lecture, right? Yes. So to be clear, here also we are having 4 grammars, right? So regular grammar, context free grammar, context sensitive grammar, recursive enumerable grammar. So to be clear, these are the 4 grammars which we will be discussing in this particular lecture, guys. Okay, yes. So now up to where we are done, guys, we learnt about finite automata, we learnt about regular languages. So now we will be learning about this regular grammar. Got it? Yes. To be clear, we will be discussing about this grammar up to this layer, right? Yes. Okay. So Chomsky has classified the grammars into 4 types. So type 0, type 1, type 2, type 3. So these were designed in 1956, guys. To be clear, before the discovery or before the invention or before the application of automata and all those things, first of all, these grammars are the origin for all these things, guys. Got it? Yes. Okay. So the type 0 grammar. So to be clear, the order will be in the reverse way, guys. Just give me a second, let me open it. So the order will be in the reverse way. So this is the first type 0 grammar, this is type 1 grammar, this is type 2 grammar, this is type 3 grammar. Okay, yes. So the reason why the order is reverse is because here we are having more freedom, guys. And as we go on, the restrictions will increase. Okay, yes. So also known as unrestricted grammar. So type 0 is nothing but unrestricted grammar. I represented with double quotes. Those statements are really important, guys, okay? Because you could get a direct matching question from this particular thing, right? Yes. So has a structured grammar, recursive enumerable grammar used to generate recursive enumerable language which is accepted by Turing machine. So to be clear, if you ask me which machine is the most powerful machine, I will answer it as Turing machine, guys. So if you give any string, any order, any pattern, Turing machine is going to solve it. How it is going to solve it? It is having that power. It will solve it. That's it. Okay. Yes. Anyway, we'll be discussing in detail about Turing machines also. So don't worry. Okay. Yes. So a type 0 grammar is without any restrictions. So any normal grammar can be under type 0. Got it? Yes. So here there are no restrictions, guys. So because it is the most powerful one, right? Yes. So now moving on to type 1 grammar. Okay. So this grammar is also called as a case sensitive grammar and length increasing grammar or non-contracting grammar. Under used to generate context sensitive language and it is accepted by linear bounded automata. So to be clear, mostly I will not be explaining you that much in detail about this linear bounded automata, guys, because it is not having that much usage as well as it is not in our syllabus. Okay. Yes. Okay, so now what is the rule here is, the only rule here is, so if we are having alpha implies beta, so I told you, right? So in type 0, we are not having any restriction. I told you, as we move on, the restrictions will become more and more stricter, right? Yes. So when it comes to type 1 grammar, here we are going to have some strict rules. That is alpha implies beta will be true only if alpha belongs to non-terminal and it should be minimum 1 non-terminal and beta should be only terminals, guys. Oh, sorry, just give me a second. Yeah, it could be non-terminals with terminals, okay, union, right? Yes, so non-terminals with terminals. And the strict rule is alpha length should be less than or equal to beta length. Got it? Yes. So this type of thing is allowed, guys. So basically A capital A small a implies B is allowed in type 0, but here if you observe on the left hand side here small letters are not allowed, right? So it could be only V of n, right? Yes. So indirectly type 1 is not going to allow it. Got it? Yes. So just to give me a second, did I do anything silly here? Okay, so just to give me a second, I'm just cross checking it. Okay. Okay, so on the left hand side we can have anything, right? So I'm just a bit of silly mistake, guys. So here it is a Vn. So one Vn is mandatory, means one capital letter is mandatory, and along with that I can have anything after that, right? Yes. The only condition here is this, guys. I think let me change this pen, guys, because this pen is writing clearly, right? Yes. Okay. 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 So now if you observe, okay, so here this is the condition which we are having, right? So the left side length should be less than or equal to right side length. So here the length is a 2 and here the length is 1. So indirectly that is a failed here. So that is the reason why it does not belong to type 1. Got it? Yes. And when it comes to capital A small a implies epsilon. So this is not allowed, right? Yes, because here the length is a 2 and here the length is a 1 or 0, you can say, right? Yes. But if we want to perform it from start symbol, so start symbol to epsilon is allowed, guys. Got it? Yes. So these are just some rules to be clear, right? Yes. So that is about a linear bounded automata. So now moving on to type 2 grammar. So here I was thinking of one thing, right? So that is applied here, guys. So what does a type 2 grammar says is, so it belongs to context free grammar, which will be generated by context free language that will be accepted by push down automata. So to be clear, after few lectures we'll be discussing about push down automata only. Okay, so the rule in this push down automata is alpha implies beta and the left hand side should be only one non-terminal and it should be exactly 1. That's it. Not more than 1, not less than 1. Okay. Yes, and on the right side there could be anything. So that is what type 2 grammar says. Okay. Similarly, when it comes to type 3 grammar, which we are going to learn in the next lectures, that is a regular grammar used to generate regular languages accepted by finite automata. Okay, so basically this grammar could be of two types, guys. So the first type is a left linear and the second type is a right linear, guys. Okay, so what do we mean by left linear and right linear? Let me explain you now. Okay, yes, so this concept is really easy, guys. So please concentrate for some time, and anyway, based on this grammar we will learn in detail about all grammars and many properties of grammars in compiler designing, guys. So this lecture will be the end of this particular grammar theory and we'll be going to complete our particular graph which we have started, right? So we are going to connect this regular grammar to everyone. That's it. So that will be the end of the grammar. But there are many things with respect to grammar, guys, like ambiguity, like various rules, determinism in grammar and many things. So all those things we'll be discussing in compiler designing, guys. Okay, yes. So when we work with the type 3 grammar, okay, so let me take that black only, that's only clear, right? Yes. So when we talk with the type 3 grammar, so there are two types here, guys. So the first type is a left linear, the second type is a right linear, guys. So the concept with respect to this is, so the left linear will look in this way. Okay, so if you start drawing a graph, so it will grow in this way, guys. So it is growing on which side, guys? So it is growing more and more towards left, right? Yes. So that is nothing but a left linear, guys. Okay. And when we talk about right linear, so it will go towards right. So it will work in this way. So both of these will be same power, but the only thing is that they grow in opposite ways. Got it? Yes. Anyway, I'll be showing you about these things in detail in compiler designing, guys. Okay. Yes. Okay, so that is nothing but left linear. So if you observe in the left linear, we are going to have the symbol on this side, and when it comes to right linear, we are going to have the symbol on this side. Got it? Yes. Okay. Yes, I think there is a small mistake here, so it should be A itself, guys. Okay. Yes. Okay. So A comma B belongs to Vn and mod A is equals to mod B equal to 1 and A belongs to sigma star. Okay. Yes. So now I hope everyone at least got some basic idea with respect to these grammars, right? Yes. Yes. Anyway, if you are having any doubts in this, anyway, we'll be covering this thing again in compiler designing, guys. And we'll be learning more about the grammars, because whenever we are designing compilers, so we work most of the time on this grammars only, and almost 75% of the subject will be based on that only in compiler designing. Okay, yes. So now I hope everyone got a clear idea with respect to this grammars, right? At least you can remember these words and you can remember few statements, right? So when it comes to type 0, there is no restriction. When it comes to type 1, the length is the restriction here. So the length of the left hand side should be less than or equal to the length of the right hand side. And when it comes to type 2, on the left hand side it is mandatory 1. And when it comes to type 3, it should be any one of them, right? Yes. Okay. So now I hope everyone got a clear idea on this. So in the next lecture, let us learn how can you identify the language with respect to the grammar. So if you recall, I have explained that already here. So we took this example, right? And we have solved it. So that is the exact thing which I'll be doing again in the next lecture. Because I'll be taking around 4 examples, I think. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. So I'll be taking 5 examples and I'll be showing you how you can identify the language from it really easily. Okay, yes. So let us meet in the next lecture and discuss about it. Okay, yes. So let us meet in the next lecture. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Like, share and subscribe for more awesome videos like this. Thank you.